What are your thoughts on Goifgate? Goifgate, 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 Goifgate. It's actually a very interesting and complex subject, and I just finished talking about it on the Command Zone podcast with Jimmy and Josh. If you want to check the link here or down in the description, you can hear my complete, detailed thoughts on Goifgate, as well as some very funny stories from GP Vegas. Command Zone, go check them out. What can Wizards of the Coast do to make Modern more affordable? I think that reprints are probably one of the biggest keys to making Modern more affordable, but of course these need to be actual reprints, not just one card in a dual deck or a very limited printing of something like Modern Masters, which only comes out every 2 years, but rather we need reprints coming out, I don't know, every year. And maybe if they're not in a block set, what we could do is we could have a set that is, if not entirely reprints, primarily reprints, and they are the essential cards of this game. And we could call this the core set. And if the core set had all those valuable reprints like Snapcaster, which is just a core card at this point, well, then prices couldn't get too high because it would always be available through that core set. So maybe that's an idea Wizards can consider. What's your favorite Modern deck? Merfolk! If you are an absolute brand new player, what's one of the best things to pick up at your local game store? Well, I'm a big fan of these sample decks, 30-card easy starter decks that are available at your local game store. These are free. Any game store charging for these is not supposed to be doing so, and you should contact Wizards of the Coast customer service because the sample decks are indeed supposed to be free for new players. So if you're a brand new player, absolutely pick up one of these sample decks. There's nothing of any value in this. So if you're an existing player, hands off. Come on, this is for new players. It's just a bunch of commons and uncommons in these, but it's a great little thing, especially if you've got a friend to pick up and start to learn. Don't get a dual deck and split it. Just get 2 of these and split it. And if you are a player and you already have one of these or you build one off of the lists, keep it handy because it's a fun little way to start out and learn. Another thing I really am fond of is 6 packs of Magic cards and building a 40-card sealed constructed deck. This is a great way to start out the game. And of course, go draft, or I hear that Magic Origins duels is going to be much better than the previous duels of the Planeswalkers. That could be a good thing to check out as well. What's one thing you would change about Magic the Gathering? In my most humble opinion, I would say the mythic rarity needs to go. This was one of the biggest mistakes ever for the game, and if I could change just one thing about the game, it would be that. Get rid of the mythic rarity. It's not helping anyone. Will you read my question? Okay. You are stranded on a desert island with only 1 mana color, and that color isn't red. What color do you bring with you, and why? Who needs red if you're stranded on an island? I would just tap into the mana of that island and use my blue magic to do any number of things. With that, I could spend 1 blue and fly away from that island to a nicer spot, and blue of mana, of course, is what would allow me to teleport or create entertaining illusions if for some reason I couldn't immediately escape. So I'm on an island, I'm using blue mana. Flight. What is your favorite Magic the Gathering novel? I would absolutely say that my favorite Magic the Gathering novels would be the Whispering Woods trilogy. If you haven't yet read the Whispering Woods trilogy, you should check it out. This land, these domains, she saw, were but a single plane in an infinite number of planes. There was so much more out there, even her enhanced mind couldn't encompass it all. With 1 leap, she could move between the spheres. She could stride the starways, warm her hands over blazing suns. She could make herself a goddess and cut a swath through the universe, gather whole planets and stars and galaxies into her arms, draw forth their energy, empower herself even more. She could pull down planets and break them over her knee like melons. She could drink of the cool ether of the skyways. She could eat stars. With power drawn from this land, with the force of nature channeling into her, she could become a god. She could conquer other gods, steal their mana, build thrones of their bones, use their flesh to fertilize her dreams. And it was so easy. The power was there to be used, waiting, singing to her like a siren's song. But with power like this, but something interrupted her reverie. Something small buzzed, called her name. Greensleeves! Greensleeves! Now that's what a planeswalker is. Cats, dogs, or both? Well, I like both, but I would say that I am probably more of a dog person than a cat person. If you had the chance to redesign or change any mechanic, which one and why? Yes, I would redesign Soulbond. I think it needs to be picked up, ripped up into 1,000 pieces, put in a blender, turn the blender on, throw the blender into a volcano. I don't like Soulbond. Why don't you do legacy videos? I do legacy videos. I do lots of legacy videos. I haven't done any yet, but they exist in the future, which at some point someone watching this video will be able to look and see legacy videos. It's not an intentional exclusion. It's just I can only do so many videos. I'm working on it. We'll get there. I did Cube instead of Legacy first. I think Legacy is next, but there's also Pauper. There's also other formats like Plane Chase. There's so much to talk about. And yes, the advanced Cube video is coming very soon. Been busy, have to get that one pitch perfect. It hasn't been forgotten about. We know you like Liliana, but besides Liliana, what do you think of the other neowalkers? Plain, average, boring. They're very, very cookie cutter. They're very, very one-dimensional. I think Liliana has the most depth and complexity, and other ones do if you look and you maybe read a lot of yourself into them. But they're these kind of... Do you kids know what Masters of the Universe action figures are? You know, He-Man and the Masters of the Universe? I feel like when you line up all the planeswalkers of today, it looks like an action figure line for Masters of the Universe. How open are you about the fact that you play Magic the Gathering? I'm totally open about it. I wave my flag with pride. I have some real nerd pride, and you should too. Be proud of yourself. Why does Wizards of the Coast only focus attention on the casual players and the competitive players and seem to ignore Friday night regulars so much? Yeah, that's a really good question, Wizards of the Coast. I'd be very curious to your answer. I am a Friday night Magic player. I don't want to compete at GPs or at anything above the Friday night level, but I want to go down to Friday Night Magic and other in-store events regularly. I want to win prizes there, not just packs, but promos and other special things. I want to be at my local game store, and I do agree that it's the most underrepresented and underfocused element of the Magic player base. Wizards seems to see only in terms of casuals and pros. And what is the term for that middle? Let's come up with a great new term. I've heard casual tryhard. I hate the term casual tryhard, because if you ever say to someone, well, you're trying hard, it's not that they did anything, like if I said to you, well, you tried hard, it kind of carries with it this idea that you did not succeed or you didn't do it as you wanted to do it, but at least you gave it your all. I don't like that term so much. Let's come up with a new one for the Friday night competitive Magic player who doesn't really want to follow the pro circuit, though. What is your favorite green card? Giant Growth, with, of course, original art. What is your favorite food? I like a lot of foods. I actually have turned into quite the foodie in my older age, but I'd say my single favorite food, probably sushi. Good sushi, yeah. What is your least favorite fruit? Figs. Blech. What are some of your pet peeves when playing an opponent? I'm going to be honest with you, I really hate people flicking their cards. I understand the premise of needing to randomize the cards in your hand so your opponent doesn't have a incredibly microscopic amount of advantage through theoretically being able to follow whether or not the card you just drew got used or you've been hanging on to a card for a while. I mean, do you realize how much concentration? I'd love to see one of the pros one time never actually shuffle and flick their cards and really see if any opponents even notice and utilize that information in any way that's effective. I hate flicking of cards. Oh my goodness. I mean, if you're gonna do it, please at least do it as a courtesy, not loudly and not... It's not cool. Not cool. When was the last time you went down to your local game store to play Constructed? Oh, it's been a really long time. It's been days, literally days. I believe the last time I went in to play Constructed was literally 2 days ago. Modern Saturday Tournament. Yeah, I played Merfolk. Thanks for all the questions. If you haven't already checked out TolarianCommunityCollege.com, why don't you give it a look? Goifgate.